It's a tale of two seasons when it comes to winter weather right now. Thank you so much for joining us at KARE 11 News at Noon. I'm Alexis Rogers. A number of area golf courses are opening this week while a lot of winter activities are now being canceled. Megan Reistad shows us how groups are changing their plans.
This week, 9 Minnesota golf courses will be, for the first time ever, opening in January and February, according to TwinCitiesGolf.com. So this means a lot of golfers are planning to golf all 12 months of 2024. Now, on the flip side, it's affecting a number of other businesses. For example, the sled dog race north of Grand Marais, the Gunflint Mail Run, is canceled because of the warm weather. That was supposed to happen February 10th, and city ice rinks in Golden Valley and Minneapolis are now shut down. In Richfield, warming houses are closed until further notice. And for the Maple Grove Ice Castle, staff there are encouraging people who bought tickets for February to change their date to this week without charge, expecting things there to close down sooner than expected. And then in Chanhassen, they've even had to pull the plug on the February festival. That was scheduled for this Saturday. And of course, you know, the golf season in Minnesota is typically April to November, so this is quite the year. Many of those courses that are now open are committing to being open through Sunday for walking only. We've got that full list of all the courses that are currently open on our website at KARE11.com. In Golden Valley, I'm Megan Reistad for KARE 11 News.
Golf courses in January. I mean, I know it's warmer than average, but tomorrow could bring even record-breaking highs. Ben, a bizarre way to end January, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it truly is. This winter has been one to remember for reasons not very winter-like. Not only are we looking at the potential for record highs, but little to no chance for anything falling from the sky through the first week of February. So how about that? Here's a live look at temperatures right now, and for what it's worth, this is a cool down from what we saw yesterday. The average high for today is 24 degrees, and we're already knocking on the door of 40. So temperatures a little cooler, and we certainly have the cloud deck back as well. Do expect a mostly cloudy afternoon, but we will stay dry. Clearing is expected as we head into tomorrow. So enjoy the clouds for one more day, and we should see brighter days ahead. Let's take a look at your main weather headlines. Sunshine and record heat likely tomorrow. We are going to smash a daily record, possibly by 10 degrees or more. We're going to stay at least in the 40s through the first week of February. And again, no significant sign of precip in the forecast. That includes rain and snow. We'll talk about when we could finally see things revert back to normal. That's coming up in a few minutes.
Ben, thank you so much. Well, minutes ago, Republican banker and military veteran Joe Frazier announced he will run for a chance to represent Minnesota in the U.S. Senate. He's challenging incumbent Democrat Senator Amy Klobuchar. Right now, Frazier is touring the state to meet with voters. Senator Klobuchar has beat her Republican opponents in her last 3 campaigns. The Minnesota state trooper who shot and killed Ricky Cobb II during a traffic stop in Minneapolis will stay out of jail during the duration of his court case. Here's Lou Raguse with a look at what happens next.
I'm Lou Raguse. Minnesota State Patrol Trooper Ryan Londrigan made his first appearance in court on murder, manslaughter, and assault charges stemming from the shooting of Ricky Cobb during a traffic stop on I-94 last summer. Londrigan will be free as he awaits trial. At the hearing, several dozen current and former police officers were there to show support after Londrigan's attorney raised alarms about threats Londrigan has received on social media, as well as activists sharing his home address. Londrigan will be back in court in April.
Well, today we have new alarming details about a triple homicide out of Coon Rapids. A criminal complaint shows Alonzo Mingo of Fridley dressed up as a UPS uniform and carried a box to a home on 94th Avenue Northwest. The complaint says once inside, he demanded money and shot a woman, her husband, and adult son. 2 kids were also in the home, but were not physically hurt. It's still unclear what the motive behind the triple homicide is, but search warrants suggest drug trafficking may play a factor. Well, it's been nearly 4 years since George Floyd's murder sparked riots here in Minneapolis. Now, plans are being made to redesign one of the spaces destroyed in the unrest.
I'm Jennifer Hoff. There's a new vision for the old 3rd Precinct building in Minneapolis that burned during the riots nearly 4 years ago. A local restaurant owner is proposing a Black cultural center that includes a museum, memorials, sport courts, offices, and more. It would mean tearing down the old precinct, but the plan comes with an $80 million price tag, and that doesn't include the property. The idea was unveiled at a community meeting last night, and several council members did attend. We're still working to get their reaction to the plan. Meanwhile, you might remember the council did vote late last year to move that old precinct to a new location a few blocks away.
Well, we're taking a live look at Capitol Hill, where the House of Representatives is now under a grand jury subpoena. A source familiar with the subpoena says the Justice Department is looking for documents related to potential misuse of funds involving security. The source also says it involves a Democratic member. The DOJ has not commented. Also on Capitol Hill today, House Republicans are reviewing articles of impeachment for Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Mayorkas is accused of committing high crimes and misdemeanors for his handling of the southern border. Republican leaders are confident they have the support they need to impeach Mayorkas, but several constitutional experts say there's not enough evidence. The U.S. and several other countries paused funding to Israel after the country claimed a dozen members of a UN agency were part of the October 7th Hamas attack. Meanwhile, as NBC's Matt Bradley reports, there's framework for a new hostage deal.
Israeli officials are urging caution around this deal, but some of the hostages' families that we've been speaking to are hopeful that this could be a breakthrough. Now, we've heard from Hamas this morning. They have said that they've received the offer, but the ball really is in their court. This was something that was more or less agreed upon among the four parties that were meeting in Paris over the weekend. That includes the U.S., the head of the CIA for America, and his counterparts in Israel and Egypt, as well as the Prime Minister of Qatar. Now, again, this is up to Hamas to accept or reject, and so far Hamas has more or less been sticking to their demand that they will not be releasing those remaining more than 100 hostages, including 6 Americans, unless Israel adheres to a full and final ceasefire during their offensive in the Gaza Strip. Now, all of this is happening as we're seeing this scandal with UNRWA, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, deepen. Now, this is the agency of the United Nations that is most responsible for helping the Palestinians, particularly in the Gaza Strip. They deliver tons of aid, and now we've already seen more than a dozen countries throughout the world, at least temporarily, withdraw their financing. Now, this has drawn protests from UNRWA leaders who say that the Palestinian people in Gaza, who have been under siege, more than 26,000 of them have been killed since October 7th, that they rely on UNRWA assistance. But now it sounds as though the Israelis are sticking to their guns, and several Israeli politicians have even demanded that the head of UNRWA resign. So as this continues, we've been hearing from a spokesman for the Israeli government. He said he's hosting a press conference this afternoon to lay out those accusations against UNRWA in more detail.